Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm Will Gerling, sports and performance nutritionist, and boy, do I have a banger for you today. So, as many of you know, I started a Facebook group just the other week, and it's all free for you to join, but in last week's Q&A live with myself, the same question kept coming up, and that question was, Will, what should I eat before an early morning session? And a couple of weeks ago, I did do, link in the corner, a video on pre-exercise nutrition. But what I really want to do is just go over the specifics of what to do if you're getting up and heading out and hitting that early morning session. And this could be weights, it could be running, and it could be cycling, it could be swimming, it could be any of these. But ultimately, I want to quickly go over the things that you can do to improve your performance and get the most out of your sessions when they're in the morning. Let's roll that intro. Yes, I have a banger for you today. I'm super excited for this. So, loads of you asked the same question. I'm going to go over it here. Now, if you do have questions yourself, remember, click on the link below, head over to that Facebook group, join in for my live Q&A this Friday. Alright? Do it every week, head there. Anyway, moving on. So, you're getting up in the morning, it's 5 a.m, it's 4 a.m, it's 6 a.m, it may be 7 a.m, any of these. But you're getting up and you're heading straight out for a session. What do you have? Now, it's going to be easily broken down into two scenarios. Less than 90 minutes and above 90 minutes. These are the two different scenarios that we're working within. And there's going to be an infographic coming up so you can see that. And I put that up a couple more times over this video. Now, if you're doing it less than 90 minutes, it's divided into two more sections. High intensity, low intensity. If it is low intensity and less than 90 minutes, so nothing above zone 2, you can do this fed or fasted. If it is high intensity, below 90 minutes, I recommend you doing this fed. How much to have for either of these scenarios? Less than 75 grams of carbohydrate. And I get to what that looks like in a bit. But less than 75 grams of carbohydrate for both of them, but I would recommend at least 20 to 40 grams for the high intensity session. Next point, when do you do it fasted and when don't you? You would do it fasted if you feel well and you feel great and you don't have a tickle in your throat, you don't have a sniffle, you are not super stressed with work, with the kids, with the family. You would do it fasted if you're in a particularly good place training wise, that there's not too much volume, that it's not too intense and you're not overworked. So recovery is on point. And I'd possibly do it sparingly. The incidence of infection, upper respiratory tract infections, and just potential risk of illness goes up with fasted training. So you need to weigh up risk and reward. And fasted training rewards, as I've done in many other videos, there are a few, but typically I can't say that they outweigh the benefits of fed training. So, then you've got feeding for the high intensity session, less than 90 minutes, 20 to 75 grams of carbohydrate. Banging. In our other scenario, here, above 90 minutes. Above 90 minutes, steady state, or above 90 minutes, high intensity hard work. So this might be where you're doing 3 hours with tempo efforts. Or you might be doing a 2-hour run at race pace. Or here, we have above 90 minutes, but zone 2. This might be going for your 4-hour steady state ride, or even your 2-hour steady state ride. It could be, 90-minute run that you're doing steady state, once again, zone 2, and many other factors. Now, with these, if you are doing the steady state one, you want to be having between 40 and 75 grams of carbohydrate, but no more than 75 grams of carbohydrate. Why, might you ask, is it always limited to 75 grams? Well, research has shown us that having 75 grams or less of carbohydrate still doesn't impair mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the formation and creation of new aerobic cells. And we found that if you stick to those amounts, that you're still going to improve and not reduce the activation and creation of those cells. Glad you got that. Then we have, obviously, over 90 minutes high intensity session. You should be having at least 75 grams of this, if not going up to like 100 and something. If we were doing that in weights, grams per kilogram body weight, you'd be looking at anywhere between 0.8 grams to like 2.5 grams potentially per kilogram body weight. But I believe this infographic doesn't go up to that amount. With all of these incidences, boom, 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 you want to be having protein with them. Protein, especially for the long duration stuff, and especially if you're going to go out for at least 3 hours, that you want to be having protein before you head out to make sure protein balance is positive and we're promoting recovery and not utilizing too much of amino acids from our body to help with energy within that session. Now, you only contribute around 1% of the energy expended from amino acids, but 1% over 3, 4, 5 hours is a lot. So get that protein in. I'd also take protein before a fasted session to prevent any usage of endogenous, which is our body stored amino acids. And ultimately, it just aids in recovery. If you do have protein before the session and the session is going to be under 3 hours, remember, we only need protein every 3 to 4 hours. So you don't need to have protein straight after the session. Don't worry about that post-workout window or anything like this, okay? Now, what does 75 grams of carbohydrate look like? And what would I suggest for you to have in that early morning session? Because the next thing you need to understand is that if you're getting up and heading straight out in 20 minutes, what can I eat? What can I eat, Will? Well, I can tell you that the food choices you should be having will be high glycemic index foods. If you don't know what the glycemic index is, it's a measure of 1 to 100, rating the speed at which from ingestion of that carbohydrate it appears in the blood as blood sugar. 100 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. 100 would be pure glucose. Now, this is a measure that only works when you're independently taking carbohydrate. If you take on fats, proteins, fiber, things like this, it slows down digestion. Okay, so this really only has importance when we're isolating carbohydrate or when we're combining it with other fast digesting foods, maybe in a post-workout window with like something like whey protein. But here in this instance, what do you want to have that is high glycemic index that you can take before you go out? Now, the reason it's high glycemic index is because 1, we want it to be low in fiber, which most high glycemic index choices are. The fact that it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for blood sugar levels to peak after ingestion of high glycemic index foods. So if you're getting up and heading out on the bike within 20 minutes, that's ideal because blood sugar levels are going to go up and you're starting exercise, which means that it's not going to negatively affect blood sugar levels. That is going to be utilized straight away into performing that exercise. Now, finally, those food choices, you're going to be looking at things like white breads, fruits, fruit juice. You're going to be looking at spreads like jam, marmalade are also good choices. You could also be looking at cereals. Quick cook oats is a potential and another one, but it does have higher fiber. What would an example look like for you? If fructose doesn't cause GI distress, having something like a slice of bread toasted with chopped banana on top and honey and a glass of fruit juice would very quickly and easily hit 75 grams of carbohydrate. It would hit high micronutrient density and at least 2 of your 5 a day. That's a great and easy way to get that in. Equally so, you could do some quick cook oats with some raisins or sultanas in, some maple syrup on top, and possibly some fruit juice on the side again. Or you could go for the bog standard, easy, old bread and jam. Now, this is very specific to you waking up, eating, and getting out for exercise. This also does not work for someone who is a diabetic, and you should be looking for your own expert advice if you are. But if you're an ordinary, healthy, exercising individual, then this is ideal for you to get up, grab something and go. I also have a couple of recipes on my site, like my endurance flapjack, which would be ideal for you to grab and get on the bike as well, because that will be fast releasing and give you everything you need as well as micronutrients. I hope this made a lot of sense for you guys and you really enjoyed the video. Like I said, head over to that Facebook page, join in for the next live Q&A, which is happening every Friday. Okay, get involved, the community's growing, loads of people on there, so get on that train and join us on that journey to where we're going for better performance, better health. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, drop a comment below, hit that like button, and tune in again for my next video. Remember guys, fuel for the work required, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.